Hi, Breathe University. It's Kamitha Whipple checking in with you again for our 100 Days with ET challenge. I'm still going strong. I hope that you're still going strong as well. And I don't even know what day we're on, which is encouraging to me because somewhere around day 35, day 40, day 45, it became a part of who I am. And I've been doing the same thing for somewhere around 50 days through ups and downs. My grandmother passed away, and I still kept at it. And I encourage you to do the same because if you can do something for 30 days straight, 50 days straight, and it becomes a part of who you are, you can do anything for 50 days straight. And it becomes a part of who you are. We can change our lives 50 days at a time. So I encourage you, if you haven't completed 50 days, start now so that you can complete 50 days in this 100-day challenge. I do want to thank my Breathe University brothers and sisters for your feedback and for your encouragement about this grief series. This is the seventh video that I'm going to do. This is the very last video I'm going to do. And today's video, I want to talk about grieving as a family and what you can do to support the children that are in your life that are grieving with you, because children go through a grief process as well. So you've already heard me say ad nauseum that the grieving need family and friends around them while they're in their grief. And this includes being with other grieving family members. So most cultures have some sort of gathering ceremony, like a repast or a ceremony precisely for that reason. So mourners will gather and they'll share a meal. And a quick sidebar, if you feel like you're alone in your grief, if you feel like your family and friends won't support you the way that you need to be supported, don't skip the funeral. Don't skip the repast. You need to be around a community of grievers. You need to connect with those, like literally get the phone numbers of people who will encourage you to a healthy grieving recovery. You need to comfort others in your grief. You need to reaffirm your belief systems about dying and afterlife, and you need to reassure yourself as well as the community of grievers around you that our lives can be stable and secure again. We can recover from this. And that's exactly what the children need to hear in your life. That's a message that we need to be sending to the children that are grieving as well. Remember, everyone grieves personally. Everyone in the room is thinking about how their life has changed, how their loved one has died. Everyone is thinking about their own mortality. And everyone is wondering when their next loved one is going to die. And so children need to be reaffirmed and reassured that they're always going to be taken care of, that they're always going to be loved. And what better way to do that than to take them to the funeral, take them to the repast, and let them see the people that will love them and support them. Now, I rarely get questions on if a child should come to the funeral. That's sort of a given that they're going to come because they're part of the community too. What I get instead are questions of, how do I explain death to a child when I myself am grieving? And what should the child do or what should the child not do at the funeral? And to answer those questions, I have 5 points for you to consider. So first, you should take the child's development into consideration. Psychiatrists tell us that children don't understand the permanence of death until about age 5. So if you have young children, maybe about, say, 9 or so, you need to get clear on what they know about death in general before you start answering questions like, are there pets in heaven? Or even, why is daddy so sad? Why is daddy crying? You need for them to understand what death is. That's going to take a long conversation. It may take a couple of days for them to process the facts, absorb them, and then ask another question that will lead to more facts. Because once they understand about death, then they can start their grieving process. And once they understand death, then they can participate in the funeral. But that brings me to number 2. When they ask a question, answer the question that they ask and speak specifically in precise terms. So please don't say, that you lost someone. Please don't say that God took someone away. Please don't say that they're in sleep, they're resting, they're at peace. Use the word died, use the word dead, because children need to hear and understand in literal terms. If you say that you lost grandma, they may want to look for grandma. If you say that God took grandma away, then they may start to fear that God's going to take people away as well. So just explain what happened in practical terms. The dog died because her body could not work anymore and it can't be fixed. And then sit back and wait for any follow-up questions. 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a follow-up question. And if you feel the need to talk about your belief system, again, practical terms, you may want to say, so when she died, when her body didn't work anymore, grandma's soul, who she really was, went to meet God. And then again, sit back and wait for any questions. And then you can explain grief in a way that they can understand as well. The way that I explained grief was this: I'm a mix of sad and happy. I'm sad because she can't do everything that she used to do because she's no longer in her body. She's not coming back from death. But I'm happy because she's not in pain anymore, and she's not going to experience pain at all anymore, forever. And then you can kind of, again, sit back and allow the child to figure things out, allow them to ask you questions and answer the question that is asked. Because if they are mature enough to ask the question, they're mature enough to hear the truth, the honest answer to what they asked. Which brings me to my third point: answer every question, every single one. And if you don't know, just be honest enough to say, I don't know, but here's what I think. Or, I don't know, let's figure that out. And because you're grieving too, if days and days go by and they're asking a lot of questions, feel free to pass them to another caring, trusting, loving adult that will be able to answer those questions for them. Certainly a pastor, a priest, rabbi, imam, a woman or man of faith is great, but sometimes they just need to hear it from a different source. So another griever may be able to help as well. Once you understand what it is they know, then you can come to the place where you can allow them to participate in the funeral. Again, please don't force somebody to participate in a funeral that they don't want to, in a way that they don't want to participate. But children that understand death, they grieve too. They want to honor the dead too. They want to participate as well. They want to feel like the community as well. So don't force somebody to be a pallbearer. Don't force somebody to read a poem. Instead, ask them what they want to do, how they want to help, how they want to participate. Listen to their answer and then provide a suggestion that's appropriate. And I'll give you an example. When my grandmother passed away, my 7-year-old son wanted to be an usher at the funeral. My parents, myself, my husband, we decided that was probably inappropriate for a 7-year-old to be a funeral usher. Instead, what we did was we gave him the task of passing out programs, passing out tissues and fans to everybody. That's all 5 people that were on his row. And he felt that he was honoring Grandma Lizzie by helping the community deal with her death. This was something that he could do to show her and everyone how much he loved her. In the same way that I got flowers. In the same way that my cousin, gave his remarks. Everyone needs to feel some sort of way that they are contributing to the funeral. Finally, and fifthly, I want to say that the children need to take breaks. Recognize that children are not going to be able to tolerate long stretches of sadness. You're not able to tolerate long stretches of sadness. So you may want to make sure that there is a trusted friend around. that can take them out of the funeral when it's too much, and allow that to be okay. Let them know that, sometimes it's okay to be sad, and sometimes it's okay to go out and have some fun. So when it's time, even within the same hour, so if and when it's time for them to take a break from all that sadness, they can go outside, they can laugh, they can play, they can tell jokes, allow them that space so that when they come back, and they want to feel sad again, or they need to go through that grieving process again, it's available there for them. Those are my 5 tips, or my 5 suggestions. I hope that you take those into consideration as you support the children that are around you, because they are going through their grieving process as well. The same symptoms, the same things that you see in grieving adults, you'll see in children. The difference, of course, is that children don't always know how to express themselves. So provide as many outlets as possible for them to express themselves around you, around other grievers, and then, of course, around people that love them and will support them and want to take care of them. I think that might be it. I'm pleased that I've got so many encouraging words and feedback on my grief series. I have a lot more to say about grief and the grieving process. I want to help people. And so if you'd like to see more videos along this vein, all of my contact information is below. Let's keep the conversation going, and let's help people recover from grief. I think that might be it. I love you. I love you. And my prayer for you today is that the God who allows children to come to him and blesses them, comfort your children, all of the children that you love that are in grief and mourning today.